Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel and we are discussing the first chapter of history of class 10, that is rise of nationalism in Europe. And this is our 7th video. Earlier we have done 6 videos and all these 6 videos are in the playlist, and you can go and check out in the playlist and you can see them, you can watch them one more time in order to refresh your memory. So today we are going to continue with 3.3 unit, that is 1848, the year 1848, the revolution of the liberals. So here we are going to see how the liberals, the people, those who were following the liberal policy and the ideology, how did they start the revolution, how did they take part in that revolution. So let us read what is given here. As you know, 1848 was one such year where all the things were not so good for the people, as parallel to the revolts of the poor and the unemployed and the starving peasants means here the farmers, workers in many European countries in the year 1848, where there was starvation and there was a bad harvest. So because of all these problems, a revolution also was being led by the educated middle class. The educated middle class, those who had understood the meaning of democracy and they understood the meaning of liberty, that one was also underway. Events of February 1848 in France had brought about the abdication of the monarch, and the monarch had surrendered his throne and he had abdicated his throne. He was no longer the king. The monarch had abdicated the throne, and after that, a republic means a form of government where the head is elected by the people based on universal, only males give votes. Universal male suffrage had been proclaimed. In other parts of Europe where independent nation state did not exist, like Germany, Italy and Poland and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, there also men and women of liberal middle class combined their demands and they asked for some kind of new changes, like constitutionalism, like rule with the help of a constitution. The rules and regulations will be there in a constitution and the government will run according to the constitution, along with national unification, that the areas, the regions which were under a certain king or a certain government should be united together. So they also took advantage of the growing popular unrest to push their demands for the creation of a nation state. So the German people, the French people and most of the people in the European countries, in the European areas, they all wanted that we should make a nation state on parliamentary principles. So here we come to know the poor people, the unemployed, the starving peasants were the most affected, and they wanted that the educated middle class, they wanted that three principles they had, parliamentary principles they had demanded. One is a constitution that they need for their government. Second one is freedom of the press, where they would be able to criticize the government if the government is doing anything wrong. And third one is the freedom of association. That means the people should have the power to make organization or a group or a political party. They can associate, they can form groups on the basis of their understanding or likes or opinions. So these are the various things that the middle class people had wanted for. In the German regions, let us see here what is given. In the German regions, a large number of the political associations whose members were the middle class professionals and businessmen and prosperous artisans, the people those who used to make pots and all, and the people came together in the city of Frankfurt. So all of them decided to gather in the city of Frankfurt in Germany and decided to vote for an all German National Assembly. And all of them decided to go together and make the all German National Assembly where the members will be elected. And here you remember these people were from the middle class, like they were businessmen, teachers, lawyers, professors and prosperous artisans, merchants, businessmen, all these people. So on 18th May 1848, 831 elected representatives marched in a festive procession, like as if they were going for some ceremony, to take their places in the Frankfurt Parliament convened in the Church of St. Paul. So here they did not have any such kind of building, so they used the Church of St. Paul, which was a huge church, and there they arranged the sitting arrangement for the Frankfurt Parliament. There they met and they drafted or made a constitution for a German nation to be headed by a monarchy subject to a parliament. They said that from now on it will be ruled by a king, it will be ruled by a monarch, but however the monarch must be subject or must be under a parliament, and there must be a constitution. The parliament will be having the elected members of the community or of the country. What when the deputies, the in charge of this parliament, offered the crown on these terms to Frederick William the Fourth, that is King of Prussia, he directly rejected it. He said that I cannot be a puppet under the constitution and the people, and that is why he rejected it and joined the other monarchs to oppose the elected assembly. While the opposition of the aristocracy and the military became very stronger, that the basis of the parliament, however, eroded. The social basis of the parliament had been destroyed now. Why? Because the parliament was dominated by the middle class people, and this resisted the demands of the workers and the artisans. So most of the middle class people were those people, those who were little rich, and the workers and the artisans were little poor, and subsequently they lost their support, and there was a division among the middle class also. In the end, the troops were called, the army was called in, and the assembly was forced to disband or forced to disintegrate, and it was no longer in power, it was no longer formed as a committee or as a parliament group. So this is what happened at the time. The issue of extending political rights to women was a very controversial one. Why? Because it is within the liberal movement only that so many large number of women had participated actively for the years, over the years, in many such kind of revolution. You can recall how they had taken part in the French Revolution also, but still they were not included within the liberal movement, and that is why this was a very big disappointment and a controversial one also. Now, earlier, if you see, women had formed their own political associations during the Jacobin Club and during the reign of the Maximilian Robespierre, and they founded newspapers also, and they had taken part in the political meetings and demonstrations. And then also, despite all these associations, despite all this contribution and active participation, they were denied the right to take part in the elections. So here also in the Frankfurt parliament, the women were not given the chance to go and take any decision there. So we'll see in the next page what is given here. So here you can see one picture. We'll come to know this picture about that later on. So they were denied the suffrage rights during the election of the assembly. When the Frankfurt assembly was being elected at that time, the women did not get the right for votes. When the Frankfurt parliament convened, or it went on, it was started in the Church of St. Paul. At the time, women were admitted only as observers, and they had to stand in the visitors gallery. They could not sit also, and they could not say anything about their own opinions also. So we can see in this picture very nicely that only the men were sitting there, and 831 elected representatives were all men. So this is what we come to know about the condition of the women during that time. Though conservative forces were able to suppress and control the liberal movements in 1848, they could not restore the old order, how the people used to rule. Why? Because now they understood that the people cannot be fooled. Monarchs were beginning to realize that the cycles of revolution and repression would only be ended by granting concessions to the liberal nationalist revolutionaries. The monarchs and the kings understood that if we do not listen to the demands of the people, again and again the people will revolt, and there will be a lot of repression, and it will be difficult to control. Sometimes even they had to leave their power, and they had to run away, leaving the kingdom and leaving the power of the king. So they understood that if we grant any kind of concession, any kind of demand fulfillment to the liberal nationalist revolutionaries, then only they will end their fight against the monarch. So that is why, hence, in the years after 1848, the autocratic monarchies, or the kings of Central and Eastern Europe, began to introduce the changes that had already taken place earlier in Western Europe before 1815. So before 1815, Napoleon had ruled, and the Civil Code of 1804, during that time, so many changes had come. And what happened in Western Europe now, they were implementing in the year 1848 in the Central and Eastern Europe. Thus, serfdom and bonded labor, the people, the workers and the farmers who had to be under the aristocrats were abolished in the Habsburg dominions and in Russia. And moreover, the Habsburg rulers granted more autonomy. Autonomy here means like independent power without asking the emperor. They could do. To the Hungarians, they gave this power in the year 1867. So these are some of the changes that took place after the 1848, and the next one we'll read the making of Germany and Italy. Before that, let's see this picture. Here is the picture of St. Paul here, Church St. Paul, and here you can see the Frankfurt Parliament is held in the Church of St. Paul, and there you can see the women were all, these are the women who are all standing there, and in the visitors gallery they could not say anything. Also, we got a word here, feminist. Here feminist word means awareness of the women's rights and interests based on the belief of the social, economic and political equality of the genders. A person, male or female, those who think that both male and female are equal, that is called a feminist. Now also in source you can read by yourself how will liberty and equality for women to be defined. You can read it and you can understand and you can find it out about yourself. So thank you and happy learning. Bye.